Hey everyone, this is Lil already from Abstrakt Music Lab, and I'm back with our sound design series. Today we're gonna do a recreation. It's not gonna be a meticulous recreation, but we're gonna recreate the lead from Consciousness by ANYMA, and it sounds like this. This is the recreation. And the original. Now both at the same time. It's pretty damn close. It's not 100%, but then you can have an idea of how they made the lead, and you can develop on that as well. This is a 2-lead tutorial, so we're gonna do the high end of it and the low end. And as usual, if you want to support the channel, you can get us a coffee, or you can buy our preset pack available here in the description below. We have our own preset pack, and we also have the preset packs that we've made for production music live and also for freshly squeezed samples. They're really nice, and I definitely invite you to check them out. But let's get down to the tutorial and let's get started with the sound design. So we're gonna start here with 2 initial presets. And the only thing that you're gonna need an LFO2 over here. And I'm leaving in the LFO like this. And if you don't have LFO2, you can use a plugin called Flux Mini 2, which is free. And you can get it here in the description below as well. But let's get started with the sound design. We're gonna start here, Serum. Before we start, we can actually check the MIDI as well. You can see that the MIDI is pretty intricate, as you can see. I had to recreate it, I had to put this really slow to understand what they were doing. And you can also grab the MIDI here and the preset, both available here in the description below. But now let's get started with the sound design. We're gonna start with layer number 1, the high layer. And the high layer we're gonna use here -1. You can see it already changes the sound a little bit. Unison to 3, detune, all the way down. You can see it already creates the kind of vibe that we wanted. Also, gonna have to pick here a monster 1 just to create some taste, some character in the sound. We're gonna put the level here down to around -27, so something like this. And it's basically not gonna give any difference in the sound. We also have to put this to -1, just so you can listen to the difference. But now what we're gonna do with it, we're gonna pick this LFO here. We're gonna put this as a ramp up. Off BPM anchor 1/4. And we're gonna put this here first to the wet position. Now the wet is going to go here to 75. And the LFO is going to go here to 33. Just so you can listen to it now. You can see it creates some sparkling sound, and that's what we want with it. Now, envelopes. The first envelope, now it sounds like a sustained saw. We have to make it more plucky, right? And the first envelope you're gonna put here to 200, something like this. The sustain all the way down, and the release as it is. You can see it already creates some sort of plucky effect to it. And we're gonna also need envelope number 2. Envelope number 2, we're gonna put it to 53. And the sustain all the way down, but since it's not routed to anything, it's not gonna make a difference. Now we're gonna start routing it to something. Filter. In the filter, we're gonna put here MG18, A and B, and we're gonna put the cutoff here to 251. We barely listen to anything, but we're gonna start routing first the envelope 1 at something like this, 20. Now the envelope 2 at 58. This is just gonna create a little bit of attack to the sound, so without it, it's just adding a little bit of attack. And the last thing is the LFO over here at 20. Because we want kind of randomly for the LFO to push the cutoff a little bit. You can see it's not at all times. Also, what we're gonna have to do to this filter is drive at 60. This pushes the level a lot. 31 for the fat. This pushes the level a little bit further, and then resonance at 20. Creating a little bit more of blobby kind of feeling to the sound. Now, effects section, and we're done here with the oscillators. let's go to the effects section. And in the effects section, it's going to be quite simple here. Distortion. We're going to then choose delay, and then we're going to choose reverb, and then we're going to choose EQ. That's basically what we're going to do. But let's start with the distortion. Diode distortion. You can see it's that kind of distortion from the original. But we need to further modulate this sound, right? So diode distortion, 62% of drive, and around 40 in the wet. But what we're going to do here, again, with the envelope 1, we're going to modulate the mix over here to around 30. Now, delay. We're going to add that sparkling delay that goes on the left. So 132 or 116. And dot. And then we're going to put the feedback to around 58. Now the frequency is going to go around 1/600 and the Q at around 1.4. So something like this. And the wet to 46. Now reverb to create a little bit of space in the sound. 32% size, decay a little bit smaller. The low cut is going to go here to 41% because we don't want any low end rumbling on the other notes. The high cut is going to remain the same. The spin, we're going to just give a little spin to the sound. And now wet at 36. But it has too much high end when you compare it to the original. We have to take a little bit of that high end and give a little bit more mids to the sound. And that's what we're going to do here with the EQ. Both are bell curves. The first bell curve is going to be around 3,300. And the second bell curve is going to be around 8,900. Boom, there you go. And now the Q of both, first is going to be 33. And the boost is going to be of 6.5 dB. And now the high end, which is over here, we're going to put a 38% Q. And the gain is going to go a little bit down. Because we have to tame that high end again. Now if you listen to the original. Now second thing is now doing that bottom layer over here. And in the bottom layer, we're going to start here again with Serum. Before we begin with the second layer, if you're liking the video, hit the like button. If you're loving it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos from Abstrakt Music Lab. But let's begin here with the second layer. This layer is going to be completely strange because if you listen to the recreation, it sounds really weird. But now we're going to go and recreate that kind of sound over here as well. So octaves -3. The unison is going to go to 5. And the detune is going to go to 0.15. 14. Now, essentially we're going to do is we're going to put this to 54. And we're going to already shape the envelope too, but we're not going to do anything with it right now. 692, sustain all the way down. And essentially that's it. That's one little important thing over here. We're going to have to put this a little bit down as well. This handle. Put this at this line over here. We have a little bit too much low end in the sound, so we're going to choose a high 24 over here. And we're going to put this over here at 110 to cut a little bit of the low end. Resonance at 12, drive at 4, just little adjustments without it. It definitely takes a little bit of that low end out. And here's where the heavy lifting of this sound is going to happen, and it's going to be in the effects section. So in the effects section, you're going to do distortion, and then after distortion, there will be chorus. After the chorus, there will be the EQ. After the EQ, there will be the compressor, and then delay, reverb, delay, and then the filter over here. That's our order for the effects section right now. So effects. Distortion, we're going to choose a weird one, which is the linear fold. It sounds really weird, but we're going to put the drive over here to 14. Right in the beginning of the 14, okay? This is important because if you put it right at the end, it can change the sound slightly. So essentially, that's it with this sound. We're also going to drive this sound here with envelope 2. So here's the first thing that we're going to use envelope 2 for. This is going to go here at 15. Just to create some movement in the sound. Second thing is chorus, and the chorus, essentially what we're going to do is kind of do a little bit of a boost in the low end, because we're going to put the rate, the delay 2, the depth all the way down, and then the feed all the way up, and the low pass all the way up again. So if you listen without and with, it kind of gives a little bit of a heavy lifting in the low end. So we're just going to put this to 18%. It just adds a little bit of low end in the sound, and that's what we want with this. So EQ now, we're going to choose here a bell and a high shelf. The bell is going to go here at 149, and the high shelf is going to go around 760. So something like this. Now, the bell is going to go here at 36, and we're going to do a boost of 11.6. It's quite a drastic boost. We're going to really push it in the low end. Now, the high shelf, we're going to do it at a 62% Q, and the gain is going to go around 6.5. We're completely crushing the sound now. Compressor. Compressor, we're going to, just from the beginning, we're going to start the multiband. Okay, and the mix, we're going to put it over here to 24. So it's just not doing that much, but we're going to actually tweak it a little bit more. Threshold to 25. Now we're going to pick these handles over here. If you click over here, you can pick the handles, and this is going to go to 115. This one a little bit down, and this one a lot up. So we're going to essentially push the low end a lot more. Without it. Again, we're going to do quite a heavy lifting over here. We're going to push the level over here to 13.2, sorry. And because we're pushing too much, we're just going to put this to minus 10.5. You can see how distorted the sound sounds, and it's nothing like what we want, but it's going to come after. But I feel that I'm going to already do this over here with the filter. So with the filter, we're going to choose here MG low 24. We're going to put this all the way down, and just with this, we're going to put it 100%. Kind of gives a better sound to what we want, right? Before it was complete destruction. Now with this, it feels more of what we want. But we're going to actually bring a little bit of reverb more, and we're going to use here a plate. We're going to put the size to 24. We're going to put the pre to around where it is. The low cut is going to go here at 37 because, again, we don't want any low end reverb in the sound. The damp all the way down, and the width all the way up because we want it to be a little bit higher. The high cut, we're also going to boost it a little bit. Without it. So you can see that reverb going along over there. But since we have this over here with the filter, we're possibly not listening to it that much. The delay, we're not actually adding delay with the sound. We're just doing sort of a Haas effect with this sound. So BPM, we're going to deactivate. Feedback, we're going to put all the way down. The left is going to go to 1, and the right is going to go to around 10, whatever you want. And now we're going to put this around over here, 750, 3.2, something like this. Essentially, this is going to make the sound wider. And we're going to put the wet here to 62%. Without it, and with it. Can you see how it makes the sound wider? Essentially, that is it with this second layer. And now, if you listen with the original, and compare it, We have the bottom layer, we have the top layer. There's still some little artifacts that would make the sound even closer, but I feel that this is close enough, and I'm really happy with this recreation. As usual, if you like this recreation, hit the like button. If you loved it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos from Abstrakt Music Lab in the future. And I hope to see you next week. Cheers!